Okay, here we go. We're going to be building today my universal hydraulic press. The press is going to be intended for multiple things, but in this video I want to focus on building the base unit. Lots and lots of different tooling I want to build for this, but I'll focus on the press and a basic set of tooling for it. This is a reefing. I had originally planned to use one big lump of steel. It was almost 4-inch thick. But it was so heavy I nearly died lifting it onto that bench, and it nearly broke my bench. So this is a lighter way of doing it. I'm going to use a piece of H section and 1/2-inch plate, weld them together and make a body, and hopefully keep the weight down. I do like stick welding. It's so simple and straightforward. So I'm using offcuts of scrap H section, as it's a really cheap way of getting plate steel. You know, you're given this stuff for nothing, and I can process it down and get 3 bits of plate steel out of it, which is great. It's better than paying the prices that people are wanting. And also I find you go to a lot of metal companies and they want a fortune for little offcuts of plate steel, but they'd give you a piece of RSJ, so you know, win-win. Any feedback kind of thing on like what people are liking about the videos, what they don't like about the videos, it would be helpful. You know, creative criticism is always welcome. My baby mill, spent the better part of 2 or 3 months during lockdown restoring this little thing. It's lovely. I was very fortunate with the mill when me and my dad went to pick it up. It was in poor condition, but it hadn't had a hard life. Some basic sort of work had to be done. New half nuts, new motor. I had to rewire it. Everything was stripped down because it was all seized and kind of cruddy. But in the end, a bit of work and it came back to life. This video is a bit of me playing around with this in-shot program. I've started having a nosy through some of its features. I've been speeding stuff up, editing over it. It's simple stuff, but I was very reluctant to do anything on YouTube and make videos because I had no idea of what I was doing. So this is me sort of having a play around with a program and the software. With that in mind, for anyone out there wondering about this in-shot program, I mean, you can easily download it and that, but I'm an absolute muppet when it comes to using computers, and you know, I'll figure this out quite easily. It's quite it's a very user-friendly program. So yeah, not promoting them unless they want me to promote them. You know, you could give me like the deluxe package if you like, but yeah, it's a really user-friendly program. So pity I couldn't work this fast when I actually made this. There's over an hour of welding just in this next little bit of sped up footage. It's quite surprising, really. I spent most of my working life, well, for the last 15 years sort of thing, I only welded TIG. I never really touched arc welding. Arc welding's been something I've done in the hobby, and I absolutely love it. It's so easy, like there's no gas involved, and it's cheap. You're just using rods, and it's so simple. I've got like my TIG set in the background and my MIG set on the floor, but I love using arc, and I love this. Just little hook and ping, shiny welds. Big chunk just landed on me. Plan was to use this. It's got a nice, I think it's about 300mm stroke on it. It's 12 tons. Problem is, I'm limited with the pump. This, on the other hand, is 10 tons with a remote pump, but the stroke is a good 100mm shorter. So I really don't know what to do. Anyone watching this at home, I've got no bloody idea what I'm doing, so bear with me, kind of thing. This is me going to war with that inner tube, well, with the actual sleeve for the bottle jack. I could not undo this for love nor money. I mean, I really tried everything. It got ridiculous. I had like a 5-foot sash clamp out and everything, and no matter what I did, heat, leverage, it didn't undo, so I had to give up on the idea. Very happy boy. My phone died, right? I don't know if I got it on video or not, but I've got like sash clamps, everything onto the ram, trying to undo it. And then it dawned on me, like looking at it, and I blew some air down some holes, and I realised how the bloody thing worked. So it went back together with a bit of a difference. Got itself a remote pump. If I sit here for long enough, it'll fully come out. So here we go. For anyone wondering, to convert this over to having a remote pump, I've done the valve up that I'm touching, and inside of the cylinder there was a like one-way non-return valve with like a little daisy valve on it and a BB. All I did was remove that one BB from the chamber and then disassemble the entire pump, put the non-return valve back in where the pump used to be. I might have to put a blob of solder on that at some point, and then I could use it as a normal single acting ram. Obviously I've got to have spring returns because it's only single acting, but it was actually a really simple, easy way of converting this over to being used with a remote pump. It's basically the majority of the press itself done. It's quite a simple unit, and it's only a ram. This is me starting on the sort of, I've been calling them bending anvils because I don't know what else to call them. They're not dies exactly. These are going to be the supports to press against. There's going to be 3 of them in the end. There's only 2 holes at the moment, but there will be 3 of them. And it will be done so you can use like 1 or 2 extras to back up if you're trying to bend something real thick. And there will also be like a over the top strap, well, support bar that will go from the back of the press to these round bars to give support if you're doing a fully enclosed form that's quite thick, just so as you're not forcing the what would you call it? Oh, my mind's gone blank. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I did muck around with this with some wood, which I think is in the video, and I bent one of the bars and I stretched that very first hole that I'm currently boring out to a really tight tolerance, and I stretched it by about 0.5 millimetre. So whilst this is 1/2 inch plate, it wasn't thick enough in the end. So I decided to firstly back up these bars with each other if necessary. But when you can't use a bar because you're doing an enclosed form, like a box section sort of looking thing, I thought if I put a support brace across the top, that should help and give plenty of strength to stop any bowing and distortion. So yeah, here we go with a test. It was about this point where I really should have stopped pumping. Oh. But I wasn't paying enough attention, to be honest with you. Yeah. So yeah, I bent that bar good and proper. Whoops. Well, these are 40mm rods. I might be able to bend that back, I don't know. That's why I'm making loads. But yeah, so we've got some squishy power. So here we go again with another piece of RSJ that I've harvested down into some nice hefty plate. This is, I think it was 1 inch thick. I'm pretty certain it's 1 inch thick. So this is me making the T-slotted utility table for the hydraulic press for mounting tooling too. It's a lot of work processing down RSJ, but at the same time It's very cheap doing it as well. So it's the best way for me, it's the cheapest way for me. I guess everybody has that one friend, don't they? Oh boy, we're still going on the T-slotted table. Like I said, it's amazing. Like, you don't realise how much time you put into doing a thing until you come back and you start editing the video. It's quite shocking, really. So this is the first time I've ever actually cut a T-slot table. Well, sorry, first time I've ever cut a T-slot on the mill, so it was like a learning experience for me. And I just apologise quickly. If people have noticed that my voice constantly changes whilst I'm recording, yeah, it's because, like, you know, I can't help it. I don't know how people keep the same voice going.
Not gonna lie, bit nervous. I've never cut a T-slot before.
So yeah, what I was more nervous about was breaking the slot cutter rather than would it cut a T-slot. I didn't want to go snapping any like mill bits, or at least snapping any more mill bits than I need. And the T-slot came out alright. It had a bit of a burr on it though, but that was easily filed out, sort of thing. Still playing with it here. Nearly finished with T-slot table. Yeah, so on my Bridgeport head there's a piece missing which I'm about to point out. It's the fine feed quill I'm showing you now. It's really annoying not having that. I didn't think it would really bother me, but now I'm doing stuff and I think to myself, oh, I could really do with a fine feed quill. It makes everything really bad. There's enough guesswork for me involved in doing this because I've got no DRO. But sometimes you can't even make a fine adjustment. I was pleased with how the T-slots came out. It's my first time to cut a T-slot and I was pleased. I know it's a simple thing and everyone else knows how to do it, but for me it was like a whole new experience. I had a bit of a fortunate stint today. Can you see me, ugly mug? There we go. Not as if you want to see it that much. Been to see a friend of mine and he's got loads and loads of these like new old stock bearings. Look at that. I mean, that's gorgeous. Yeah, loads of them. So like ones that you could literally fit around my waist, so they're pretty big, to like really small. Yeah, so that friend is the owner and founder of a little place locally called Make Gosport, just near Portsmouth in like the UK, and he describes it as a like gym sponsorship, but instead of using weights and like treadmills, you're getting the use of tools, and he's got everything. He's got CNC plasma tables, 3D printers, routers, CNC mills, laser engravers, fully functioning wood workshop, fully functioning metal workshop, video editing suite, everything. Yeah, so that's Make Gosport. He's helped me out a lot with things like he gave me my surface height gauge, and some of the thicker square stock I use later on is from what he's given me as well. So just a big thank you to Paul Cobb over at Make Gosport, and if you're local to Hampshire and that, check him out. Well, check them out, get a membership. It's a nice place to go to. I go there, but I'm lucky enough to have like all what you see in the video in my back garden. pushing the work holding capacities of my mill a little bit here, but it got there in the end, you know, just surfaced it all off along the top once it was all welded. Here I'm doing another thing for the first time. I'm making V-slots. I've only ever really used my mill for facing off and a little bit of like edge milling for profiling and straight edges. So I've tipped the head for this. Unfortunately, I don't have enough travel on my Y-axis to cut this in one pass, so I've constantly got to readjust the ram that carries the head of the mill. This was an 80-degree slot, so I didn't have any of the like Shao mill horizontal cutters as an 80-degree cutter. I had 90 degrees and I've got 60 degrees, so this I wanted as 80 degrees. Here I am resetting the location of my head. I've done the bolts up, by the way. Just cut that out because you only see my back. Yeah, so this was a new one for me, like milling like this. This is me milling the 60-degree block. This is using a chamfering tool. I've had to pre-cut a channel through this, which wasn't ideal. The odds are the two blocks that you've just seen me made, I won't really use much unless I'm folding real thick metal, because big old reliefs at the bottom. But yeah, this was just me trying something new, see if it worked, see if this was a good way of moving forwards or not. At this point it dawned on me that I've got cutters sitting in storage and I might possibly have a arbor to hold them, and that. This is way better than. Now these will be my folding dies I'm using, depending on which V I'm using. If it's a 60-degree V, then that's obviously a 60 degree included angle. So I've got to use a 30-degree cutter on either side of the blade to make the two match up correctly, which is what I'm using here, I believe. This could well be a 40-degree cutter for the 80-degree block, but I think it's the 60. Actually, that could be the 45 looking at it. I believe this would be called a die holder because it's the tool that gets pressed into the forming tool. So I guess that's a die, because surely the bottom tool would be a form. So this is a little bit different to what I've done. I've skipped all the squaring of the stock and facing off. Almost looks like it's not moving now. Oh, it is moving. I can see the auto feed. Never mind. So these chamfers are really, they're just relief. They're not. They're done to make it look a bit prettier. They're not functional or nothing. So we'll jump past a bit of this. So yeah, very, very pretty finish. A lot on them. This is just a rinse and repeat of the other side, so won't show too much of it.
Well, it's been a long few days, but this is very nearly finished. What I've got to do is tap this hole and one more, and then quickly make up some angle iron brackets, and the press is done. So yeah, fun, fun, fun.
And here we go. So this is the press finished. Just a quick apology. I had been editing this periodically and making like small sections, and it didn't make for a very fluid like building process part of the video. So I will try and sort that out next time. So this is 3mm thick mild steel. It's a 50mm wide strip. It's just something I had kicking around from, I think it was my larger oil burner video build. This will bend 10mm thick plate at about 100mm long, so like 100mm fold it will do in 10mm plate, which is rather impressive, in my opinion anyway. Nice 90-degree bends those, really nice.
Well, I got the first two bends square, the last one I didn't, but yeah, so it can make enclosed forms. You know, maybe you want to press some paper mache bricks or something, you know, I do that.
So the purpose of this is like I can arrange the cut finger brake blades into any sort of formation I want to achieve different lengths of like fold, and that where I've done them was like 5, 10, 15, 20, 40 and 80mm. It allows me to hit every 5mm between like 5 and 165mm, and they're locked in with a keyway, so it makes it very easy to use. Yep, so that's a 90-degree blade. We all understand that. Don't know why I've bothered filming that bit. Hey ho. Just swap the forming. I guess you'd call it the die, because it's, well, actually it'd be the lower form. It's still a die though, isn't it? Because it's what forms the shape. So punch and die. And so here we go now with a 60-degree blade, so you can form like nice and tight and close to one another, like the bends. Yeah, that's quite obvious that they're going to match up, you know. So now the press is done, I can say one thing I've definitely got to change about it is it's got to have a electric hydraulic power pack on it, as pumping it kind of sucks. You know, it works and everything, and it works fine, but it would be a lot better if it was just like, you know, push a button and then press. It'd save a lot of time, and it'd be a lot easier holding the work steady whilst you fold it and stuff. And I also need to make some like work supports and backstops and that, so as everything's held square and level. I guess setting up any machine, it can be tedious with this many bolts to do up and adjust and that, so speed this up a little bit here. It's very flexible though. Ta-da! I think this is a little piece of 1.8mm or 1.6mm, I think it actually be. Mild steel that I found over by my hand shear. So I thought, you know, I'll stick that in there and I'll make a top hat. I'm not bottoming the die out or nothing, but it's very like easy to see once you hit the 90-degree mark looking over the top of blades. And I'm pleased with how crisp it's folded and everything and that. I mean, the fold should be crisp. I've milled everything up on the mill and the shaper. Actually, 4 bits of this project I made on the shaper in the end. That nice little top hat. What's next? Oh, a tool change. Here we go for a tool change. This particular setup, the sort of the blade, which is formed into that round anvil you're looking at. I call them a bending anvils, I don't know what else to call it. It was an earlier idea that I'd never really pursued past this one tool, but then I thought it would be a good idea to make more, because it will allow me to make enclosed forms as tight as around the piece of 40mm stock as I can get them. So if I want to make a small enclosed form, then it gives you the ability to do that. So I will make some more of these, but this was just an idea that I abandoned originally. So there you have it, the universal horizontal bending press or workshop press, and this is the tool I've made for it so far. If you enjoyed the video, or if it's giving you any ideas and that, then you know, please like and subscribe. It all helps, it all keeps me eager and interested in sort of making random stuff, and well, making the videos about the random stuff I make. And you know, it keeps me keen to share my ideas and that, and I will get a bit better with this video editing lark in time. But yeah, for now, take care and enjoy.